The Republicans have decided that they are going to fight. Shocking.
Right.
Now, they have some code words for it. As Orrin Hatch talks about code words, ironically, he uses code words of his own. He was on TV this week, in fact, on This Week on ABC. Let's show you the clip and then come back and talk to you about what the Republican strategy is going to be to oppose this nominee. Clip number 5, guys.
Well, it's a matter of great concern. If he's saying that he wants to pick people who will take sides, he's also said that a judge has to be a person of empathy. What does that mean? Usually that's a code word for an activist judge. But he also said that he's going to select judges on the basis of their personal politics, their personal feelings, their personal preferences. Now, you know, those are all code words for an activist judge who's going to, you know, be partisan on the bench.
He did also say he wants someone who respects the rule of law and the limits of the judicial role. So it sounds like you're saying that you think there's a tension between following the law and following your feelings when you're a judge.
Well, I don't think there should be a litmus test or any set of litmus tests when you pick people for the high court. And I suspect that the president understands that. He's a very bright guy, charismatic, intelligent, likable. And I'm hoping that he'll pick somebody of great dimension. We all know he's going to pick a more liberal justice. Their side will make sure that it's a pro-abortion justice. I don't think anybody has any illusions about that. The question is, are they qualified? Are they going to be people who will be fair to the rich, the poor, the weak, the strong, the sick, the disabled, and yet give justice to those who may not be?
I love that he began with fair to the rich.
Right, but that was the first thing. Are they going to be people who are fair to the rich and the poor? You know,
and the strong, and that's the weak.
Right. And then the sick and the disabled. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of judicial activism. Let me just read you one little thing here. 20 years ago today, Antonin Scalia took the oath of office to become an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. Through his dogged commitment to the fundamental principles of liberty and the brilliance and passion with which he expresses that commitment, Justice Scalia is having a profoundly positive impact on our nation. That is Senator Orrin Hatch. And he's talking about how he doesn't want people that are judicial activists. And the most avowed judicial activist on the bench right now is Antonin Scalia, or was for the longest time until he got, screwed out of the Chief Justice job. So the two-facedness of these people when they're talking about the nomination of justices and litmus tests and all that, don't believe a thing they say. As a matter of fact, a great drinking game whenever in the next few months, whenever Orrin Hatch comes on TV to talk about, is to set an over-under for the times he says litmus test. It's a great drinking game.
It's funny because I agree and disagree with parts of what Hatch says. The part I agree with is that Obama did use code words. I listened to, and we covered it on the show, his little speech about what the qualifications he looks for in replacing Souter. And I got a sense of, wow, he's really going to pick a liberal justice. He's not, and I thought that's the signal that he was sending by saying someone who's going to interpret the law and
show empathy.
And show empathy, et cetera, et cetera. Now, everybody interprets the law, but the conservatives come at it from a position of the law is the law. As
strict constructionists.
Right, as if their interpretation of the law is the only possible interpretation of the law. So anyway, I agree with Hatch that Obama was heading in that direction based on what he said. Now, I don't agree with Hatch based on this idea that, hence, those are the activist judges. As Michael pointed out, the conservatives are incredibly activist, but just in their own direction. So they will take a case and they will stretch it to fit anything that they like. Obviously, one example, although maybe not even the best example, is Bush v. Gore, where both sides just absolutely flipped their positions. The conservatives who had been saying states' rights, stay out of the state's business, especially an election in Florida, where the Florida Supreme Court would be much better able to handle it. And then, since their guy lost in the Florida system, in the court system, they said, oh, no, states' rights my ass, okay? Here, watch me. I'm going to be an activist judge and say, no, I get to decide. The Florida court system does not get to decide. So they're full of crap on that stuff. And what Hatch is doing is he's using a code word. When he says, oh, it looks like they're going to put an activist judge forward, he's saying, they're going to put forward a liberal judge, which he acknowledges later, and we're going to filibuster it. Now he says, oh, we're not filibustering because he's liberal. We're filibustering because he's activist.
Right.
One, that's actually less accurate, right? And number two, that's not why you're doing it. It's just a way of prettying it up.
And that's the
like
thing.
as if it's based on principle.
And both parties do this. I mean, I have a problem with Hatch doing it because he speaks, out of the other side of his mouth when it's his president nominating a justice. So it happens all the time. And so when they say we don't have litmus tests, but they do, that's not true. Any more true is it than when the Democrats say they don't. Of course, Barack Obama is going to nominate a judge, as Orrin Hatch admitted there. He's going to nominate a judge who is more liberal than the judge that Orrin Hatch would nominate.